Hey everybody, good morning. Starship launching this morning, launch number 4, and got the heavy booster basically landed on the water and then dropped it in, and that was pretty cool. That was definitely really cool. So sorry about being late. Kind of had my attention on that and got me all behind. Anyway, welcome to the show. Welcome to the show. How's everybody doing? Doing pretty good. Pretty good so far, so good. Laura Wolfens, don't recognize your name, but welcome to the show. Michael, Larry, Rex, Infinity, Arturo, Andreas, Don, Donald, Eric, Rob, Gayton, don't know if I said that right. Sorry about that. Wade, Rosalind, Maurizio, Alan, SK, don't recognize you, but welcome to the show. Philip, Ed, Gary, Doors, Kenneth, Dan, Nikki, Marianne, Diane, Brian, Joseph, Murrow, Robin, Svenborn, Amy, Craig, Rosalind, Gary. Welcome, everybody. The split isn't today. The split's on the 10th for NVIDIA. Just so you know. And it'll just open split. It's dun, 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 dun. Pull it up, show you. And let's see. So this swap her over. If you want to chat with me, ask questions like all the fine folks saying, hey, good morning, what's up? All you gotta do is be a subscriber on the channel over there. Flip back real quick. Click the button right down here. Click the button, be a subscriber on the channel. A few seconds later, you can chat with me while I'm live. If I'm no longer live, I have to leave a comment down below. Anyway, NVIDIA right there, you can see the split. Right there, Monday the 10th. Monday the 10th is when it will be split. So, Friday, tomorrow, closes regular. Monday, next Monday when we open, 10 for 1. If you have 1 share, you'll have 10. And I think you have to have settled shares, whatever. I don't know all the X-date details on that, but not really planning to take advantage of that. That's 2.46 billion shares right now. It's going to become 24.6 billion shares. So 10 out, just move the decimal. Boop. All right, like that. Stock price gets cut in 10th. Divide, move the decimal here. Boop. That's how it works. So whatever the close price is Friday, we'll just move the decimal 1, increase the number of shares by 10, and there you go. That's how it works. Everything will be even Steven. The market cap doesn't change. Share price drops, but number of shares, 10x's. So there you go. And you heard it here first. I've been talking about the fact NVIDIA was going to rival the largest company in the land, right? I've been talking about this for weeks. Look at this, 3.1 trillion right here on Microsoft, right there, 3.1 trillion. And we did the math, I think yesterday on 3.2 trillion. Dun, 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 dun. This takes NVIDIA and pushes, they're already up here above Apple because they're 3 trillion. So they're up here already. And they're going to jump up here maybe today, maybe tomorrow, maybe next week after the split. NVIDIA probably going to jump, leapfrog, whoosh, right up here. Right like that. It's going to be crazy. Guarantee. See if it updated. Yeah, there he goes. I just need a refresh right there. So 3.011 trillion. And it's not far away. Gunning for the king right there. Of course, no way they're going to get to be bigger than gold. Not in, the crazy thing here, the crazy thing to me, NVIDIA is going to have to sell billions of GPUs for the next decade to justify this valuation right here. Billions of GPUs. They don't even make billions of GPUs. They're going to have to, they don't make anything. All right. They hire another company to produce everything. So think about that. They don't actually make anything. That's just crazy to me too. I mean, technically Microsoft doesn't make anything, but they do make software. All right. Apple has an ecosystem. I mean, they have a store. Like both Microsoft and Apple run app stores, make money that way. Microsoft runs a couple different ones. Run like the one on Xbox. They run the Microsoft Games. You know, Apple runs the Apple App Store. And yeah, it's like airlines. Well, I mean, airlines aren't in the business of making airplanes. It'd be like Boeing hiring somebody to make their airplanes. That'd be more similar, Ten, right? Like an aircraft manufacturer that hired the manufacturing out. They just designed them or whatever. So this is kind of crazy. Kind of crazy, if you ask me. Anyway. Yeah, it'd be like Boeing if Boeing didn't make their own airplanes. So there you go. NVIDIA doesn't make their own chips, so they don't make their own anything. It's just kind of crazy to me that they're sitting up here and they've risen so far so fast. You know, the Magnificent 7 has now become the Magnificent 1. When you really look at it, pretty much all the gains are right here in the market. What happens when we concentrate that much? What happens? Now, the whole theme of today was to talk about global liquidity. And yesterday, dun, 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 look what we did. Popped right up in to the target zone. Look at that right there. Pachow, right up in there. Got right darn close. Right darn close. And it actually was, if we do the bigger pullback we did back here, right there, it was exactly right on the money. Right on that 1272. Right there. Right on the money. Bingo. Bingo, bango. Got another one right. Guess I got lucky again. Got lucky. Sometimes I get lucky. Sometimes. I mean, it was a while. It took us a while to get here from all the way back in April. May and June. There we are. Tagged it. Right on the money. 54.50. That's kind of the next resistance up here. Right up there. Don't forget. That may happen. If NVIDIA takes that top spot, we may shoot right on up there. Might happen. Be ready for it. Now, what kind of drove this craziness yesterday? From a high level perspective, there's only one thing correlated to the market that's shown correlation to the market for a long time, and it's 98% correlated to the market. That's Global Central Bank Liquidity. Bank of Canada yesterday cutting rates by a quarter point. That's liquidity increases. ECB, I don't know if they've done it yet. They're scheduled to cut rates today for the first time in years. That's increased liquidity. Jerome Powell, unlikely to cut rates next week, but maybe in July or September. We'll see. The jobs being a little wonky. We'll find out the jobs report tomorrow. If that unemployment rate ticks up a little bit more, they're I don't know. Will they cut rates? Will they not cut rates? If it ticks back down, they'll definitely hold rates steady. If it actually ticks up and we have higher unemployment, they might do something. But so far, the jobs numbers that have been coming out this week indicate everything's okay. Everything's okay. Hunky dory. Strong labor market, right? So the labor market's probably what's going to cause them to fold. But as I have been talking about, when we look at the actual market rate, the Fed doesn't set the rate. That's the crazy thing here. The blue line is the DGS2, Delta Golf Sierra 2, 2-year constant maturity rate, right there. Everybody see it? That's the blue. The orange is the Fed funds rate. How do you add it on TradingView? TradingView.com. You just type in Delta Golf Sierra 2. You click this button right here, add or compare. Type in FED, FUNDS, right there in the search box. Click that button, add it to your chart, and then you get this handy dandy chart right here. And right now, interest rates are climbing in the blue. Here's the Fed funds rate right there, sitting just above the market rate. If they cross back over, the Fed will have pretty much no choice but to raise rates more. I don't think there's a single instance where And they don't tend to cut into the market running away from them unless they're already on a cutting cycle. They've never been flat and they cut while the rates were going higher. They cut a little aggressively back here. Now, every time, why do I have this drawn? Every time that the orange, the Fed funds rate, gets above the blue, we have a financial meltdown in this country, right? Dot-com bust, great financial crisis, rates freak out, into COVID. What's going to be this one? This one's taking longer to brew. It's almost like this one right here. This problem's brewing. The market rate's been more volatile than it was back here. Something's brewing. Or is the freak out going to be from here? Or are we going to climb rates even higher and the freak out's from up here? I don't know. This is the thing nobody's talking about. The rates may go up more before the real problem happens. Inflation could kick back up, especially with all this other central bank liquidity hitting the market. I mean, we're already seeing ridiculous NVIDIA. Magnificent 7 has basically become the Magnificent 1. NVIDIA shooting for the king. Microsoft right now. So anyway, how does that all help us? How do we make money today, right? How do we be cautious? The breadth and depth of the stock market continuing to decline, even though we were hitting all-time highs yesterday on S&P. This sitting down here with less than 50% of the S&P 500 stocks make above their 50-day. That's just above the 50-day, all right? Look at the 20-day. We were at 40% yesterday. 40% of S&P 500 stocks were above their 20-day average as we hit all-time highs. This is not good. This is not a strong indicator right here. This is actually strong of very, very narrow trading in a weak market. A very weak market. Right? You may be hearing on mainstream media how strong the stock market is. This is not a sign of strength. My spider sense is off the charts here. This right here, stocks above their 200-day. We're only at 69% of S&P 500 stocks. That's 500 stocks. Only 69% of them above their 200-day. We've already tagged the top. This tends to be a giant oscillator. We tag the top. We go tag the bottom. We tag the top. Could we make a higher high? Possible, but we're going to have some broad market participation, which we're not indicating right now on the lower indicators here. That's lower highs. These are just market oscillators. You can't trade them. Be careful. Be careful. S&P right here just taking a breather after that epic move up yesterday. Very strong. There's TQQQ. Hitting the target. There you go, Laura. If you're here. I think you were looking for that. Maybe it was Nikki. DHI. There's a buy. I upgraded the alerts so they look different now. Look at DHI. And pop up to the 30-minute. There it is right there. Be that high. Be that low. That was a close above right there. So that's the entry. There's the buy. There's the target, 148, right up there. Right there you go. Hopefully those alerts fired off in Discord. Wasn't even paying attention. Well, I can't really pay attention to Discord while I'm on the line here. Let's see. Just check it out. Make sure. Yep, that fired off into. Cool. It's got all the new data too. All right, that's in the Termite Trading Lab group, that particular alert. So popping back into ES. Just churning overnight. Just churning. Look at that. Just came up, closed the market at 5 o'clock, reopened at 6 o'clock. Just been sitting. It's like they pushed the pause button, basically, overnight. Doesn't mean anything. I mean, we could easily pop that 5,400 pretty easily on ES. NQ, same situation, right up just below the target. We may push even higher. Russell, though, look at this one. That's not the same. This is where most of our country works. Like, why do I pay attention to this? Because 85% of the country, 85% of the employees are employed by this index. All right. S&P 500, yeah, that's the big companies. That's most of the money. That's most of the market cap. But most of the people like you and me, we work in this area right here. 85% of us anyway. So 8.5 out of 10 of us. Cut that guy in half. Cut that girl in, whatever. Cut that, I guess it's a kid, right? Child labor. Anyway, 85% of us work here, and we're nowhere near the all-time highs. All-time highs up here, 2,400. We're down here at 2,000. And this is looking like some bearish price action here. We're not like, it's not even pushing above where we were back here in April, like the S&P and the NASDAQ. So this is like red flag, big red caution lights flashing right here. Red alert, red alert. This is indicative that we might see a big flush out. There's banking problems brewing again. 63 banks making the list. Many of the, almost the entire list has commercial real estate exposure, 300% of their asset balance sheet. Think about that for a minute. If there's any kind of hiccup in commercial real estate and you got 3x leverage on that, problems. So, and Dow is a bullcrap index, so manipulated, so out of date. The largest component of the Dow is like, what is it? Healthcare, UNH or something like that. That's the most weighted stock in the Dow. So I think it's UNH. And that one's being lackluster. So what do you think Dow's going to do if UNH is doing that? Dow's going to be doing that. Oil. This one took a nice big drop. Now, here's the deal, though. Can we hold that 786 right there? Can we hold it? That's the limit. If we get below it at all, we're cruising right down here. More than likely. If we hold it, break back above the daily roadmap line, back above the 80 area, game on for going up to 90, probably 105 above that. Right now, caution, that's some weakness showing up in the oil chart right there. That high, that low. Yeah, this 105 area. That's the tell. If we break through that, we're going up here. And maybe up here. So there's kind of like the way it's stacked up right now, I guess you might say. So there's the resistance, there's the resistance, there's the resistance, and up here is the target. Support here, and then this 55 level where a whole bunch of stuff is lined up right on top of each other. So 65, 60, 55. Not a lot of downside, but a lot of big upside potential. And it could sit here sideways for a little while before we actually break out and do anything. It's probably going higher, despite the fact that the futures are pricing a forward curve of dropping down to 60. GC, on the other hand, look at the forward curve on that baby. Going up to 2,800. Right there. One candle, two candle. overnight, this was interesting. I thought I got all sorts of alerts last night, and then I come in this morning. I'm like, what? Gold's flat. Look at this. Look at what he did last night. Look at this. Look at that. It took that trip right up there, and then came right back down to basically open flat. Isn't that wild? So looking for this to rally again. That's a potential 15-minute market roadmap bounce right there. Back above that 618 right there. Back above that. Gonna take us up here very quickly. That's how it works. We did the bounce back here, rallied up, bounce again, rally up. We get above that 2,400 level. That's the 618 of the big pullback. Get above that. Probably heading up here, 2470, right up in this zone. Right there. So watch for the break above that resistance right there. 2406-ish. Get above that. Game on for going higher. Hey Cliff, morning. And Bitcoin doing the same sort of crazy moves. Not quite the same, but same sort of crazy moves. Looking for it to break on out. We got right to the breakout and rejected yesterday. Can we do it today? I don't know. Maybe. Bigger time frame. Pushed it right to the limit yesterday. Look at that. Right to the limit. Right to the limit. And backed off. Sitting right there today. Can we break through? Break the dam. Push it on higher. Maybe like, JT, why are you looking at futures? Let's look at the spot. Same situation. 1 high, 2 high, 3 high, 4 high, 5 highs in this spot. Can we break higher? If we do, targets are target dog. Zoom her up. That didn't zoom like I planned on it zooming. All right, target right there, 77,000, where I've been talking about for freaking forever. It feels like since back here. In March, that's the target. Right there, 77,000, then 84, 85 above that, if we can do it. And if things just get absolutely crazy, maybe hit the 100,000, but I think we're going to do another retrace before we get there. I think we're going to come up in this area, probably do another retrace, maybe back down in this zone. Really frustrate everybody. Like I could very easily see this. And then we come right back down like this before we do the bigger up again. Probably. Ethereum, not really trying to push higher. Hasn't done it. Just sitting, just sitting, just sitting. Hasn't pushed higher than we were back in March. It's not bullish. It's not necessarily bearish. It's just indecision right now. The spot ETFs haven't actually started trading. So we may be just waiting for that to we actually see some of those come onto the market. Dollar holding below the roadmap line. That's still bearish. That was the support. We're pushing down through. We could get a bigger flush. Those of you that say, well, when the dollar flushes, the market rallies. So that Starship is coasting in space. Sort of the alert I just got from SpaceX. LPA. See what's actually moving today. Coin. Oh, look, coin. That's an exit right there on coin. What happened? Did it drop? Nope. It hit the target. I bet. Yep. Hit the target. Look, that bounce. Beautiful. This pattern works. All time frames. That high, that low. That was the entry right there. Right in there. Boom, right to the target. Right to the target, right there. SPY. Hitting the target, same situation. Beautiful. Lulu. That was one of the biggest poppers, but it looks like it's retracing that move right back off. I'd still expect Lulu to drop a little further. This move it crushed down through the support, the consolidation, kind of tested almost at the bottom of it, but tipped the odds. We're going to extend it lower. I'll be highly cautious. If we can get back above the roadmap line, tips the odds to going up quite big. But right now, very, very dangerous on Lulu. As far as we could push lower very easily. NVIDIA, like I said, biggest company in the land, keeps pushing higher. Are we going to get the 3.2 trillion market cap? Quite possibly. There's the, like, we're just almost bouncing through the targets. Look, hit that one, gapped up to the next one, consolidated, gap up to the next one. Where are we going? We're going to 1.3, 1,300 today. Be $133 a share after the split. Can we rally? Can we do it? There's that 1250. Yeah, well, it's funny enough. Goose is busy today. He's doing pilot training, sim training, whatever, for the airlines. But months ago, he was asking me about what could drive this market higher. I was like, NVIDIA becoming the largest company in the land. He's like, well, that's kind of far-fetched, JT, especially when we were talking about it back down here, maybe even lower. It may have been down here. And that's when I started drawing it, and I wrote this on here. Actually, I wrote 3.06 at the beginning, but then Microsoft got a little bigger, and I was like, it's going to take a move up to 3.2 probably. And Microsoft's sitting there at 3.15. So it's going to be a race, an arms race to get to the top. But Microsoft's, just kind of hovering. Here. While NVIDIA is just rocket ship higher. Now, the problem with rocket ships is this. Everybody thinks they're a freaking genius right now investing in NVIDIA. Right? I've already heard this. I'm going to buy more. I got to get everybody to buy more. I'm going to tell everybody about NVIDIA. SMCI. Right? And SMCI is kind of in this point right now. It just needs to cool off a little bit. Right? Just needs to cool off before we can rally again. Look at that. See that right there? Doesn't that look a lot like this right here? You know what comes next? You know what's going to come next for NVIDIA? A cooling off and a plummet. It's going to happen. Like, it's going to happen. Don't get caught up in the psychology of a market. All right. Don't, this can keep going for a while. Book some profits, for gosh sake, if you've ridden this thing this high. I was in down here on NVIDIA. I got out here. I missed this. I don't really care, but I missed that. I'll probably miss this right there. Be careful. IWM 5 minute. Oh, that's interesting. That's a long on IWM for those of you that follow that one. So be careful. Please be careful. This thing is going to end. I mean, look at this. That's that crazy chart, right? That's that crazy chart right there. That's it. Watch out. Please watch out. I've seen it before. We're going to do it again. Well, it's the bubble chart, basically. mRNA. Watch out for this one to be done and go to a lower low. I don't care what new whatever they have. Watch out. That's a lower high. That's also the bubble chart. Look. You see it again, right? That climb. It's never exactly the same. All right. It's not a perfect exact copy, but look. We're all geniuses. This thing's going to print money forever. Just needs to cool off. Don't forget. Don't forget, all right? Want to see another one? You see it, right? Cool off. Plummet. Maybe like, but JT, you don't understand. NVIDIA, I do understand. And I understand price action, all right? You got to be careful. We're doing this part. I don't know if it's this part or this part on NVIDIA. This part will come, and this part will come. Be careful. I always say, it doesn't happen exactly the same way. This one much more volatile on the complacency part. Thought we were going higher. Still lower low. This was the chop. That's the drop. I could pull up tons of examples like this. See what PayPal was hitting. What did PayPal do? Yeah, that kind of had the same up and right back down. See, this is, you know what causes that chart? Anybody know? Anybody know? Anybody? Oh, look, that's beautiful. Almost an entry on the daily. 72, there's our target up there. We can get above that 67 area. In fact, I'm going to send an alert right there. I may pick up some PayPal. We came up shy of the target, so I drew this arrow back here years ago. We got darn close. Missed it by $6, $8. $8, I guess. And so I'm still cautious that we may go visit this zone down here. That doesn't mean that there's not a short-term opportunity to make money right there on PayPal. CIEN. This thing just chopping. I wouldn't want to get involved. That's just sideways chop right there. Just nothing. Nothing for a long time. All right, that's 2 years of just sideways choppy. Popping, it try to break out, try to break down, nothing. Just sitting right in the middle. And really, when you pull it back even further, it's been doing nothing for 4 years. Took a little divergence up. Same little bubble pattern. Consolidation, drop right back down. That's good. Starship. I'll have to watch it when I get done. SMAR. Smart sheet. Nice pop. That resistant. We're gonna, for this to really confirm to me we're going higher, we're gonna have to get above that that consolidation before we dropped out further. Target would be up here at 57 for SMAR. NVDX leveraged NVIDIA. Looks like we're retracing that one back off a little bit. SAP picked up the wrong version of SAP. SAP just consolidating, still lower highs. Roadmap line is where I think that's going. Invax. Biotech. I don't like biotech. I'll tell you, there's 4 things that don't follow my patterns. If you're new here, 4 things don't follow patterns all the time. Biotech being one of those. And why? Because the FDA is involved. Food and Drug Administration in the United States, they just approve stuff, deny stuff, suddenly outlaw stuff. They just change their mind on stuff. It's all political. And it creates craziness in charts that is very difficult to predict. And there's the bubble pattern yet again, right there on Novavax. You see it, right? That climb, consolidation. It's never exactly the same, but it's very similar. Very similar situation every single time. So what are we doing here? I don't know. Nothing for me at all. Biotech. And so that's number one. Number two, low price stuff. That's stocks, not any other assets, but stocks under $10. They just don't always follow patterns. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. It's not, it decreases the reliability. So stocks under $10. Next one up, leverage stuff. So anything like Coin has, a chart, right? Coin is Coinbase. So CONL is a leveraged coin player, 2x leverage, that takes the coin chart and manipulates it with a multiplier. So while this might work, it might also like exceed targets both on the upside and the downside because of the leverage. Like another example, TSLL, a 2x bull there, BitX, a 2x leverage on Bitcoin. While it may work, it may not work. Be careful. All right. Bitcoin's sitting in the highs. This one, or Bitcoin's sitting just below the highs. This one's sitting substantially down here at the 618. So be careful. It could kind of show, on the flip side, it could be indicating that Bitcoin's about to break out. If we can get a move up through this 618 here, that kind of confirms that Bitcoin maybe in the underlying in a leveraged fashion. Maybe we just can't see the price action properly on the regular Bitcoin chart. It takes a leverage to see it. So it could work both ways, but in general, leverage stuff doesn't always follow the pattern, especially if you get into 3x leverage type products, 3x leverage products. And then there's some stuff that's just declining assets like this one, Ultra VIX, is just going to zero all the time. So be careful on your assets. All right. Things that just go with the underlying. If you want to look at VIX, look at VIX. All right. You want to trade VIX, your opportunity should be in VIX, and then you use the leverage. You don't use the leverage chart to make your decision. That's the point. Like use coin to make your decision. Then I'm going to play leverage, and then decide Connell is the way you're going to do it. So it's like your weapon, and to take advantage of something you see on the coin chart right here. And so the fourth thing, China stuff. All right. China, notorious, let's see, LANCY. Yeah, this one. Anybody remember this one? Anybody remember this over here? Remember this? Same bubbly pattern, right? Rocked up, just needed to cool off. Plummet, delisted for a number of months. Accounting anomalies, lying about their imports and stuff, and they haven't recovered since. Same bubbly pattern over here. So they operate under a different accounting practices than U.S. companies. So they work through what do they call it, intermediaries that list them in the U.S. market, and they don't have to report honestly necessarily. Well, they're supposed to report honestly, but they don't have all the accounting and auditing that U.S. companies have in the stock market. So Carvana, probably coming back to the roadmap line. SJM, Smuckers. Ooh, lower low. Look at that. Oh, that corrected everything on here. That's made a lower low. So start over on everything. If we can build a reversal here, looks pretty nice. Let's see, how far down did that go? Man, that was deep. That could be a measured bounce brewing. Could be. It's a little deep. A little deeper than I usually look for. Not the ideal, but this could be setting up for a rally up here. Right there. Once we break above the roadmap line, could be set up for a rally up in this 180 to 200 zone right up there. That'd be pretty wild. And it was up here at 160 before it got beat down back to 116. So could be almost a double on shares right there for Smuckers. And it doesn't have to stop there. It could go on up to 220. SMTC. I want to see it get back above the daily roadmap line. If you don't have the roadmap line, link is in the description. Click the more button. It's like $5. Or if you're a DIYer, you can go back in my history of the channel and look for the videos where I talk about my favorite indicator, and I'll give you the code and everything, but you have to do it yourself to put it on the chart. If you just want an easy button, it's like less than a cup of $9 coffee. You can just click the button, pay me $5, I'll give it to you. Easy button, yours to keep forever. And LOGI, that's all those alerts firing off are all the same pattern too. It's all the market roadmap bouncing. You don't get the alerts, but I'm working on something for that. In fact, let me show you. Let me pull something up really quickly. Let me see what I can do here. Look at this. I'm going to screenshot this and show it to you. I got the browser. Stupid browser. Come on. One more try. It popped up an alert right into this screenshot, right as I did it. So check this out right here. Working on a web page. You know, some people like Discord, some people don't like Discord, but I'm working on this right here, like a web page view. Look at that. You can see I got 30-minute alerts, I got 60-minute alerts, all like everything's going into this database, so I'll be able to give you a view of these breakouts as they happen. It's pretty cool, right? Gives you the target, gives you all the information. I'm working on this right now, so it's pretty cool, I think. Been working on that a lot. I stayed up till like midnight 30 last night doing that. Yes, do I do my own thumbnails? I use Midjourney, so I do all my YouTube stuff is all just me. NVDU, leveraged NVIDIA, going a little crazy. USD, is that indicating that NVIDIA and semiconductors possibly topping out. This is an ETF of semiconductors, ultra leveraged. It is a leveraged ultra, so be careful. Be careful, be careful. This can easily drop right back down. VSTO. Watch out for that one. It's just more resistance. You know, sometimes the bubble doesn't come all the way back down immediately. You know, that one shot up and consolidated and came back down, found some support. They don't have to go all the way back down and be like this one holding right here really well. So on a breakout higher, that one may be heading up here to this area right up here, 70 to 80 right in there. And how do we know when that's actually going? Probably going to get a move back up to this consolidation right here, which we're right at. If we can break back up into that, probably heading up here on VSTO. TSM, this is who makes the chips for NVIDIA. So, and their target right up there at 170, coming up just shy. That's basically the ballpark. Be careful. Don't have to go any higher. And there's Comcast and HSBC. That is a buy. That's a buy. That's a buy. Those are all brand new entries. And that's a buy on SIGA. Comcast, HSBC, financial ETF. There's another one, EWC buy, right there. NVDL, another leverage. MNST, Monster Beverage. Hey, come sponsor me, Monster. A lifetime supply. Morning Monster. I don't drink hot liquids, so coffee, not my bag. Tea, not my bag. In fact, tea makes me puke for the tannins, I guess. Anyway, I drink Monster in the morning. I used to drink Coke, but started adding up the calories on that, baby. So I drink these Ultra Monsters, and not too bad. So anyway, Monster just kind of consolidating here. If it bounces right here, this is actually a measured bounce. Potential setup. That move up, that retrace. If we can break back above the roadmap line and that high right there, Break back above that at 56. Sets us up for mega rally. Probably the 68 area, maybe 73 above that. This is why we do the list. Try to find these awesome ones. That's several on here that have that kind of potential today. So watch for those breakouts in the coming days. 5. Oh, 5 below. Dropping down to a lower low. Golly. Could that be it? Is that the end? See that high, that low, that lower high. Oh, we probably need a little bit lower on 5 below. Same kind of pattern, just upside down. Needs a little bit lower to that support level around 94. That could be it. Goose has a theory that when everybody sees the support level, that they'll start buying early and we miss the downside targets. So be careful. That one could turn and burn at this point. That's been a heck of a consolidation from all the way back here in 21, 22, 23, 24. That could finally be done. That high, this lower low, break back above the 618, probably setting us up for 255, maybe as high as 316 on the upside. Kava getting punished a little bit today. Although it's coming back strong, it looks like it was the biggest decliner, second biggest decliner, and it needs a trip back to the roadmap line. That's the bubble chart again. Just depends on how you scale it. Now, how high? Where's the top of the bubble? It could be way on up higher. Be careful. LPG. That one's taking a nice dip and may come back. Dorian. Is that Dorian fruit? LPG. Marine shipping. Dorian fruit. Anyway, watch out for the pop back down right there. Set up another entry potential. Nice. Looks like we need to extend it on down. It was popping now. Was dropping. Now it's popping. Was dropping pre-market. Just to show it to you. Extended hours. See, we were down a little bit. Now we're popping, rallying strongly as we came into the open. And regular trading hours. Back to the daily. So potential bottom on nice, but it looks like it wants to come on down to 117. Base. Whew. That one's coming down viciously. Look at that. That high, lower high. That's why we got to see, look that high, that low. We held that 618. Can lead to a drop. We could find support here. We're in the zone where we can find support. Maybe down at 13. We've had all these lows. Could be down here. Watch for that. If it turns here, starts back up, fills that gap, that would be a long. If it doesn't, if it shows continued weakness, probably coming down here back to this 13 area where it consolidated for forever. Right there. Could even dip down lower low than we had right back here in October of 22. So that's one that's not participating in the broad rally in the market. And you can see the bubble pattern. While different, but very similar, and led to the big drop. This, most stuff that 95% of stuff that does IPOs, the dinosaur is the IPO, ends up being bearish and goes much lower than the IPO. So 95%. There are the special few that don't ever retrace, but most stuff makes a lower low than the IPO price before taking off and building a long-term bullish case. And cold is under the roadmap line and maybe pushing lower. That's an ultra short, so leverage short on natural gas. CXM sprinkler is pushing lower. And I don't know who's calling me from San Antonio. I don't know anybody from San Antonio, so CXM pushing lower. ARM at the resistance. Watch out for that one to drop. That's the bubble pattern again. Look at that bubble. That was IPO. It's a bubbly pattern. consolidating, just cooling off right before we take the next run. Be careful. Be careful. Be careful. ZIM. That one. That's a 3-wave up into resistance. Probably needs to retrace at least to the roadmap line. And if we get below that, watch out for a bigger, deeper drop down to a lower low. Big resistance right there. Watch out. When we get into these zones where we gap down from, that's where bag holders are sitting and they're ready to sell. They got their money back. They're going to get out. So that's what creates the resistance at those gaps. And then Reddit, pop, cooling off period at that resistance. Be careful. It can lead to a drop. Just warning you. Just warning you. Watch out for the drop. We already did make a lower low than the IPO, but watch out. Watch out. All right. That was the list for today. That was all that was moving pre-market. My bias for the day, still kind of expecting us to drift on some air here. We may coast a little higher, but it's time to be cautious. All right. Cautious doesn't mean buy a bunch of shorts. It just means book profit where you got it. All right. We could coast higher. We can cruise right on up here. 5,400. NVIDIA could be the biggest company in the land. ECB is probably going to cut. That's global liquidity. More global liquidity equals higher prices in the stock market. 98% correlated. All right. Let me add one. Let's see. Is it on here? This one. Look. Fed liquidity. Let's see what we got here. It's in a red zone. Red zone for liquidity. Be careful. We've tended to get pullbacks, but yeah, liquidity is increasing and price is going higher. It's all coming together here. Eventually, we're going to retrace this out. Watch out. Watch out. Watch out. Support down here, right at 5,000. Next resistance up, 54, 50. Right up in that zone. There you go. That's the bias for the day. I'll be in Discord and hanging out the rest of the day. If you want to come join me and you don't already have access, members.prosperitypub.com. If you're a member, if you're not a member, links in the description. It's like $5 right there. Come join us. And I'll see you again tomorrow. Same bat time, same bat channel.